almost ready. Hello! Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know what's really going on here. My name is Jessica. Welcome back to my channel. Seriously, I was ready to record this video 2 hours ago, and then my boss had to be all,
I need you to do work.
so had to take care of that. It is Monday, February 12th. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Okay, so I haven't recorded a video in a couple of weeks. For real, the past 2 weeks have been nuts. I started a new job, which was the one that I was just complaining about. I swear, I like it. But I didn't really want to record anything during the day because I wanted to make sure that I was getting all of my work done. Secondly, I started my first women's Bible study in my home. We had about 10 or so girls there. So one day we might be talking about a story of obedience, a story of identity. But it was also really exciting for me because it was just that moment that I was like, okay, God, like I'm stepping out in faith. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but here I go. So if you want to join, give me a shout. And then in addition to that, this year it was my first time signing up for Night to Shine. That is a big event put on by the Tim Tebow Foundation. At one point in the night, they crowned everybody king or queen. I lost it. It just made me realize, I'm like, that is how we need to be treating people every single day. I just loved it. So I come to you guys today with a conversation piece. I mentioned in one of my last videos that when God like really wants to get something through to me, it'll happen like many times, or like it'll show up in more than one form, like 3 like totally unrelated things. That was my email, I'm sorry. This time was so interesting because it was all exactly the same. I was going in for one of my morning shifts at work, and occasionally in the mornings I'll fill in on this morning show. I remember waking up that morning just not happy. I was just really down about myself, and I don't know, it just was not, I did not feel good. And I remember sitting down at my microphone and putting my headphones on and having to pop up my microphone and just sound so chipper and so happy. Meanwhile, I was sitting there knowing that I did not actually feel that way. I was just having this moment where I was like, what am I even doing? Like, is this what I want to do with my life? Like, am I happy? Why am I sitting here? And it felt even worse when I had to pop on the microphone and just like pretend like that I was like super happy that day when I definitely was not feeling it. And then only like an hour later, after like I got off my morning shift, I had gone on Instagram and I saw a post by one of my friends who's also in radio. The caption was about something about how she had a rough week the previous week. I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, like she had a rough week last week? Like I had no idea. Because you wouldn't know, because like in this industry, you're expected to sound the same way like every single day, the same amount of energy. Once again, I was like, wow, like that was kind of interesting. Like literally we're feeling the exact same way. But then before I moved to Florida, I interned at this radio station in Michigan, and they have a morning show called Mojo in the Morning. And one of their hosts named Shannon, just such a great role model. That day, she opens up on her morning show about how she constantly feels like she's been faking fine. Like that she's just been like faking it on the microphone for the past like year, when deep down, like she has been dealing with her own stuff. She even said some of the things that I was thinking just that morning. Like, what am I doing? Who even am I? Why am I here? And whether or not you're in media or whatever, a lot of us are expected to go into work, put our work face on, and just pretend like everything is fine, like you're normal, even though sometimes you're feeling just like broken inside. And I kind of wanted to speak to this issue of like brokenness in identity and shame, kind of. While I was sitting there and I was thinking those thoughts of like, who am I? What am I doing? Those were all issues of like identity. For me personally, when I feel like I'm kind of like actually have my stuff together for a little bit and I'm doing okay, the first place that I really start to feel attacked is in my identity. Because if I lose sight of my foundation and what I am built on, I lose sight of everything else. It's like when your foundation kind of gets shaken, there's nothing to hold anything else up. My anxiety kicks back in. I start trying to do everything on my own. I forget why I'm doing what I'm doing. I tend to kind of just like bottle it up and usually like not tell a lot of people that I'm like feeling a certain way, because I feel as though in like the Christian world, it's like harder to admit that something is actually wrong. Because, and I don't know about you, but it'll be like, I feel this way, but the Bible calls me to feel this way. So therefore, something must be wrong with me because I'm feeling this way. And then I end up going like, oh, this can't be right. So I like basically just like coat myself in shame because I'm like, what's wrong with me? You know, it's like this constant like shame cycle, like rinse and repeat. So it's like, how do we combat this from a faith perspective? There's another YouTuber that I follow named Kirby is a Boss, and she had a great way of putting it. She essentially said there's a big difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is like, I feel bad because I did this thing. So it's like a feeling, it's fleeting, it's temporary. Where shame, on the other hand, is like, I feel bad because I am this way. Like, I am this person and it disgusts me. So it's tied to our identities. It's who we are. Do you see the difference? It's definitely tough because it's like, at the end of the day, like, we are human and humans are gonna feel human emotions. Like, yes, the Bible does call us to be freed from those things, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to experience them. Because as much as we try to strive to be like Jesus every day, we're never going to be Jesus. Yes, through the process of sanctification, like, we are going to grow and we are going to look more like him every day, but we are never going to be him. So as long as we're seeking the Lord, a couple of things are going to happen. One, we're going to be more aware of how much we need him. I know that like the more I seek the Lord, when I'm without, like, I'm actually feel like I'm like starving for him. Secondly, there is bound to be some sort of attack on us. As I said, when I feel like that I'm like seeking after the Lord and things are like getting better, my identity is the first place that the devil tries to whisper in my ear. And I am not a Bible guru, like, I have a lot to know. But I do remember what the serpent said to Eve in the Garden of Eden. So in Genesis 3:1, when the serpent was trying to get Eve to taste the forbidden fruit, it says, now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord had made. He said to the woman, did God really say you must not eat from every tree in the garden? Isn't that interesting? Like, that's what the serpent said to Eve. He was like, but did God like really say that? Are you sure? Because like, I feel like it could have been a little different. Like, yo, that's manipulation. Dude, she was there. She knows what God said. But here is the serpent sitting there trying to make her question something that she like very well knows. You know, he's trying to get her to question herself. To me, that's just like so familiar that it like, it's crazy that the Bible can be so many years old, but like stuff like this, like that is exactly what like you and I go through on a regular basis. It just like whispers at our identity. Did God really say he loved you? Did God really tell you he had a plan for your life? Did God really say? So from the beginning of time, like that is how the enemy has been trying to plan his attack. Even today, like today, I had this moment of shame that just like crept up on me. Like my past just like was literally in front of my face for a second. And it really hurt. I felt that like, are you really over it? Did you really move on from that? For a second, I almost believed it. Is depression real? Yes. Is anxiety real? Yes. Like all those things, yes, yes, yes. But it isn't who we are. Our pain isn't who we are. Our past isn't who we are. Our anxiety isn't who we are. One thing I know I really need to work on is just taking those thoughts captive. Sometimes I know our natural instinct is just to like listen to that negative self-talk and just like mull on it and think about it. Like how much different would our lives look like if we were able to just, if we heard it and we were like, the thought comes, and you're just like, aha, no. And I'm not saying like not acknowledging those thoughts, it's just not accepting them as truth. Some of the things that I was thinking about that was sitting there really eating away at me and stressing me out were things that I actually think I might have a solution to. Perhaps sometimes it's not just a necessarily negative self-talk, it's things that you're just like have been avoiding dealing with. Sometimes I need to listen to myself, hear it out, and then address it. What is the problem? And is there a solution to this problem? Maybe some of those things will require having tough conversations or making some serious changes in my life. Like a couple of weeks ago, I knew that a serious thing that had to change was I had to get another job. Like I had to get a second job. Like there was no question about it. But sometimes there was literally no rhyme or reason for those thoughts other than the fact that something is trying to come against you because you are doing something right. And I say this all right now with like so much conviction because I'm like so fired up about it right now. But I might wake up tomorrow and be like, Jessica from yesterday, come back. You were so motivated. When you find yourself sitting there like I did and like Shannon did and that my friend at work did, like when you find yourself sitting there questioning your identity and questioning your worth and like, why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What I know for sure is that when we are unsure of our calling, we need to turn to the one that called us in the first place. So yes, that is my video for this week. I hope it was helpful for somebody out there. Anyone? Bueller? So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and please don't forget to subscribe. I am now up to like a whopping 56 subscribers, which I'm telling you, like I get more excited each time. I'm like, people are listening. What is happening? I know. I'm kind of a big deal. It's fine. But that is all I got for today. If you guys have suggestions or, what's the word I'm looking for? If there's something in particular that you guys want me to talk about or to address, I will do it to the best of my ability. Just please leave it in the comments below. My name is Jessica. Have a very blessed day and I will see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.